This week on This Week in Blernsball.
Playoff Roundup.
Red wine with the fish must be a Soviet.
We're animani, totally insane. Animaniacs, those are the facts.
Then we need to talk.
Welcome to This Week in Blernsball. What? No marshmallows? I'm your host, Ben Bloom. With me, as always, is co-host and executive producer, Jacob Morris. And, it's not quite a trip to the Decapodian Embassy unless there's marshmallows in your nice mug cocoa.
There needs to be marshmallows in the nice mug cocoa. Otherwise, have we really visited the Decapodian Embassy?
It doesn't count.
No.
It's really just... You're really just a tourist at that point.
Yeah. And why tour to the Decapodian Embassy?
Sure, you could vote Schnadel if you think there should be a recession.
No, we're not doing fucking vote yet. That comes later in the episode.
And remember, you could vote Schnadel if you want there should be a recession.
Yeah. Hey, maybe you want there should be a recession.
Hey, your prerogative. But we are getting off topic already, which is a record for us.
Yeah, and that's a really hard record to beat because this podcast, staying on topic, that doesn't sound like us at all.
No, we're almost at 40 episodes, and I think we've had more tangents than topics.
Yes, indeed we have. But let's stay on topic. Unfortunately, we start with a sad topic for the fourth time in a row. We lost two Hall of Famers this week, Whitey Ford and Joe Morgan.
And I don't know what it is about this year. They're just Al Kaline, Bob Gibson, Lou Brock, Tom Seaver. There's more I'm probably forgetting, and I'm remiss if I have. But I don't know if it's been us being so hyper on our computers this year that we're more acutely aware of everything. But man, Joe Morgan, I mean, this is probably one of the greatest baseball players ever, certainly in the conversation, top 2, top 3 greatest second baseman ever. I didn't know this. He played 22 years, which is insane. And of course, he was the big red machine.
Yeah, he absolutely was.
He made Cincinnati that powerhouse that it was.
And he's one of the all-time great undrafted players, too. Passed up in all, it was 70 rounds of the draft back then. Was signed as an undrafted guy by Cincinnati, 10-time All-Star, multiple-time World Series champion, 22 seasons in the big, key part of the Big Red Machine. That's a story. Unfortunately, not a great broadcaster. The terrific broadcast rating website Fire Joe Morgan is named in his honor. Well, anti-honor, I guess. But an all-time great at second base.
And that's the thing. Since we weren't alive in the 70s, despite what our cultural references may indicate, we got introduced to Joe Morgan on Sunday Night Baseball with John Miller. And when you start doing research into this guy, I mean, he won MVP in both of the Big Red Machines championship years. I think him and Johnny Bench are the only Reds to have won 2 MVP awards. That decade was all in Southern Ohio. Yes, he was a bit gruff in the broadcast booth, but this was Joe frickin' Morgan. he more or less gets a pass for everything he did in his career. And even after his time with the Reds, he ended up making a World Series with the Phillies. So, like, he had longevity that you don't see anymore, and a hell of a stolen base threat as well.
Yeah, absolutely he was. I mean, 22 seasons. There's nobody who plays that long anymore. I mean, there's the joke, I'm 35. I'm just getting started. I'm in the prime of my life. And then here's the oldest player in the league. He's 33 years old, a miracle of modern medicine. Like that kind of joke going on. But Joe Morgan played forever, it feels like, well into his 40s, and played well into his 40s.
And a deserved Hall of Famer at that as well. And of course, we also mentioned Whitey Ford, who died last week as well. And he, winning personified, 6-time World Series champ, 10-time All-Star, Cy Young Award winner in that famous 1961 year. Everyone, of course, the attention's on the home run race. Whitey Ford had a hell of a year, and he actually featured in the 61 Asterisk movie, being the guy trying to make sure Mickey didn't get too out of control.
Come on, Mick, let's go have a nap. Yeah.
And of course, yeah.
He also lived the dream. I mean, how many kids grow up wanting to be the big hero for their hometown team? And Whitey Ford was a kid from New York, and he grew up and became the ace of aces for the New York Yankees. He lived every kid's childhood dream.
Absolutely. And then one of the things the Yankees do well is they pay tribute to, players of theirs who have died. And you saw, I believe it was in the Yankees' last game, they had the number 16 on their jerseys. They were able to turn that around really quickly, which was nice. And you expect there to be some type of fuller season tribute next year. I mean, who knows at this point, but
yeah. Who knows when anything's going to happen at this point, but
for sure. And, just two more baseball greats, go do your research on them, especially the relationship between Johnny Bench and Joe Morgan, getting those, catching guys stealing. I mean, I think Johnny Bench said that they had a telepathic connection. They were able to play off each other so well, and just read up on the both of them. Go watch. Favorite thing about Joe Morgan, his batting stance, the flapping elbow.
The flapping elbow. I thought there was something wrong with him. When I watch highlights,
man, it worked. And I'm sure if you follow Kevin Youkilis like I do, religiously, I think he said, or he had retweeted someone who said, nowadays, if a kid did that, a coach would tell him to stop doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't have worked. It absolutely should not have worked, but it did. Like so many things about guys from back then.
Silver Slugger.
Yeah.
Exactly. So much of what we think, Luis Tiant turning all the way around to face second base and then coming to the plate. Fernando Valenzuela looking into outer space. Even Clayton Kershaw, he does the little can with his leg as he goes to home plate.
Yeah, so much of that gets worked out of kids, but if it works, let it work, right?
A hit's a hit. The Texas League or dying quail. It gets you on base, it counts.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about the playoffs or about more of the 2020 random disaster generator?
I think let's keep up with the 2020 random disaster generator because this one was weird, bizarre, and hopefully not going to end worse than it did.
Yeah. So, according to the San Francisco Union Tribune, Tommy Pham of the San Diego Padres is in good condition after getting stabbed. Holy crap!
Fuck!
Yeah.
Who would stab Tommy Pham?
Somebody who got in a fight with him outside of a strip club. I mean, let's break this all down. According to the article, he was leaving the club and got in an argument with somebody near his car, and then he asked them to get away from his car and got stabbed. Like,
that is... It's like two people having an argument. He walks out, like, get away from my car because, like, they're presumably in a condition where they could damage a guy's car. And he gets freaking stabbed. That's ridiculous.
Well, let's break this down even further. What are you doing at a strip club during a pandemic?
That's a whole different thing because I don't have an answer for that. Everyone's got to work. But at the same time, maybe now is not the time to, go out and, like, from what I have heard. Now remember, this is from what I... Oh, no, I was talking about from what I have heard of strip club experiences. There is proximity to other human beings with minimal clothing. This is just what I've heard. I have not done extensive research into this. Proximity and a lack of, like airflow are two things we're not supposed to be messing with right now.
Yes. But, like...
And again, everyone needs to work. Everyone needs to work. There's nothing wrong with that. Airflow, proximity, lack of clothing, that's... Again, to each their own. Like, no judgment here. You just feel bad for a guy who just wants to have a night out and ends up getting stabbed.
Yeah. Now, according to the article, it was mostly cosmetic. It did go through all 3 layers of skin, but didn't damage any organs or vital tissues. He got stitched up fairly nicely. He should be fine. But still, he got stabbed.
What the fuck else is going to happen this year? A hive of... radioactive bees attacks Rodan? Like, okay, why not? Like, there are no rules anymore. Everything bad that can happen is presumably going to happen.
Remember when murder hornets were a thing? That was real lazy writing. They showed up and then didn't do anything.
Well, I mean, they flew all the way over from the other side of the world. They presumably were tired, and apparently, like normal bees, like they have like a Maccabee revolt against the murder hornets, and will fight back against the giants. So, which is always nice to see. Fuck, got stung. That's how it goes. But yeah, I mean, tune in next week to see what the fuck else is going on this goddamn messed up universe.
Yes.
Although someone has some big news that isn't terrible and garbage.
Puppy! I was going to reveal the puppy when the puppy actually showed up, and then say, this is the puppy.
Now we need good news in this universe. So I'll let you take it away because you sent me the picture, and I did a backflip in as much as someone who can't do a somersault did a backflip.
Yes, I'm getting a puppy. He's a very cute puppy. His name is Ampersand. He is a Portuguese water dog, and he is coming home on November 3rd.
And if you lived in Philadelphia, he'd be a Portuguese water dog.
Oh, Philadelphia. Never change.
So, Ampersand, that's a lot of syllables. I love the name. I think you can do like great stuff with like the collar and the bowl, and like you actually use the symbol and make it really cute on Instagram and everything. What's going to be the short name when Ampy's running around the park and about to go like attack a squirrel and you need to rein him in?
Andy, because Ampersand means and.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Sandy if you wanted to get creative with it, or as a segue to our next segment, but I digress. Andy is a great name for the little guy.
Yeah. And he is so adorable. I could hold him in one hand right now. He'll be far too large for that when he's fully grown. They get to like 50 pounds. I'm not holding a 50-pound dog. But right now, he's tiny.
He thinks he's people.
He thinks he's people. But back to
congratulations
baseball.
To you and Aaron.
Thank you.
Sure, back to baseball. You have your own. The podcast has a mascot now. That's what
the podcast does have a mascot now. I mean, other than Zoidberg.
Other than Zoidberg. I mean, let's be honest. Zoidberg is pretty much our host at this point.
Zoidberg is pretty much a co-host at this point. Zoidberg is my co-pilot.
Zoidberg, take the wheel.
So, let's look back at the divisional series. Series? Yes, series.
Serai.
Yes. So the evil Yankees were defeated by the, I guess, less evil Rays in what was a pretty entertaining series.
Absolutely. I mean, you thought the Yankees, they kept coming back. The Rays looked really strong in a lot of games. Again, you saw the vulnerability once you get the starter out. But I mean, that was a lot of fun. That's what you expect to see from an AL East playoff matchup, not whatever the hell the Blue Jays did.
Yeah, well, I mean, that wasn't the real AL East playoff matchup. Let's be honest.
I'm going to take it. I'm drafting fourth in next year's draft. I have not nary a leg to stand on. But my favorite part of that Yankees-Rays game was guess who got homered off of once again in a big moment when he shouldn't have given up a home run, because it turns out 100 miles an hour straight is just a straight pitch.
Aroldis Chapman. It's always nice to see trash human beings get homered off of.
And it was a great home run. And the best part about Aroldis Chapman home runs is just the stats behind it. It's coming in at 100 miles an hour. Bat speed meets it. That thing's leaving the parks so fast, you might as well put a flight attendant on it.
Yeah, pretty much. Those things get gone.
Yeah. And, of course, the Rays celebrating by trolling not only the Yankees, but the Trash Rose, their putative opponents as well, with a bit of New York, and some recycling bin stomping. Once again, Ji-Man Choi for president.
Yeah, oh my goodness. This is one of those moments where in our off-podcast chat, I just kind of went to Ben, do we like the Rays now? They're embodying everything about this podcast.
They're a scrappy bunch of misfits who somehow can figure their shit out at the key moments. There's at least one tribe member on the team in manager Kevin Cash. I mean, they're sticking it to the Yankees.
They're sticking it to the Astros.
Yeah, they're up 2-0 in the ALCS, which, sad Jose Altuve is sad.
Womp, womp, womp.
I guess we like the Rays. Ew, but also okay.
Yeah. I mean, they sure have this team of destiny feeling this year.
I mean, yeah, and it's crazy. And they're a fun team to watch. They got small ball, they've got the big bats, solid defense. I mean, remember when Arozarena had that triple in the wild card game? Dude can haul ass.
Yeah, he's got some jets. I remember watching that, and we both went, why'd they take Shoemaker out?
Dangerous last words. And there goes the season.
Yep. Of course, we covered this already, but in the other DS, Houston beat the A's, thereby furthering Billy Beane's string of regular season success and playoff failure, although he finally has a playoff series win because they beat the White Sox. It counts. It counts.
It counts. Hoist the banner at the Yoko.
Oh, poor Billy Beane. I mean, he's got a movie where he got played by Brad Pitt, so he's not that unfortunate.
You know what? I would disagree, because now when anyone meets him and they're expecting Brad Pitt and then they see him, even if Billy Bean is a conventionally handsome human being, he's not Brad Pitt. So people will inevitably be like, aw.
I don't disagree with you there. But unlike Brad Pitt, he runs a baseball team.
Brad Pitt could if he wanted to.
I suppose he could, yes. The Dodgers swept the Padres, which means the Padres, unfortunately, are out. All hail the Padres. They are going to be fun.
They were a lot of fun to watch this year.
They were a lot of fun to watch this year, and they're going to be fun for a long time. It's just, it wasn't their time quite yet. The Dodgers are, it seems like, an unstoppable force.
With that being said, did you watch last night's game?
To the Braves, yeah.
Who themselves did something that no one's been able to do in the history of time, and eliminate the Florida Marlins, or the Miami Marlins, mind you, from the playoffs. First playoff series loss ever for the Marlins franchise, and it's all Jeter's fault.
It's all Jeter's fault. If we know one thing for certain, it's Jeter's fault. Yeah. But the Braves-Dodgers are going to be a really good series.
Oh, man. And
it's going to feature fans.
Yes. So, yeah, let's get into this game from last night. So, first off, fans are allowed at the new Globe Life Park at the ballpark in Arlington in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, at Jerry World, brought to you by Camping World and also Whataburger.
I think we got it.
I think we got it. So fans were in the stands, and with some semblance of distancing and mask recommendations, except when you're eating and drinking, which at a baseball game is always, otherwise you're doing baseball wrong.
Yeah. It almost looked like, a Florida Marlins game, because there weren't enough fans in the stands. But other than that, there was some semblance of normalcy, because, fans and fan noises and not Fox-generated monstrosities.
Oh, Fox, they try their best, and it's always a bad idea.
It always is.
And then I'm starting to warm up to the Rangers' new ballpark. One, because they actually opened up the roof for last night's game, which, automatically makes baseball better. Like during the first series, I think they had the roof closed, and one, they have artificial turf. Unless it's for a good environmental reason, why?
Well, I think it was because they were anticipating having the roof closed so much. Being in a hot environment that's also, on a hurricane path, there'd be lots of nights where the roof is closed. They can't guarantee that it'll get as much sun as it'll need to have grass grow. But that said, it's glass paneling on the roof. Wouldn't that let enough sunlight through to grow grass?
Yeah, neither of us are botanists, but I'm pretty sure you could still grow grass. But either way, it looked a bit too synthetic, but, having actual fan audio, high-stakes playoffs, and a shit ton of home runs definitely helped the ambiance. But what killed it for me, before even the first pitch, was the goddamn tomahawk chop.
Oh, I know.
I thought they were getting rid of that. Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. But
and as for
I can't say it enough. Get rid of
it. As simple as that. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's also Texas. There's no sentimentality to it. It's like the Braves weren't even the home team.
Home team,
air quote. Yeah. Play I Love LA by who did it? Randy Newman.
Yeah. I love LA. Now,
have Vince Scully on saying, "It's time for Dodger baseball." Still the best Twitter follow ever.
He is the best Twitter follow. Now, have you heard how overwrought the meaning of the distances are for everything at New Globe Life Park?
I don't understand what that means, but go ahead.
Okay. Every single distance that they filled out for the stadium has a meaning behind it. So home plate is 42 feet from the backstop because in honor of Jackie Robinson.
I like that.
Okay, I like that. The left field foul line is 329, number 29, Adrian Beltre. The left field
I like
line...
Beltre. Don't touch his head.
Okay, but it goes on. The left field line then deepens to 334, number 34, Nolan Ryan. The left center gap is 372 to commemorate the first year in Texas of 1972. The deepest part of the park...
Because they were the Washington Senators.
They were. The deepest part of the park is 410 feet for number 10, Michael Young. Dead center is 407 for number 7, Ivan Rodriguez. Oh, good old Pudge.
Pudge.
Right center gap is 374 feet away, which is the turnaround of 74 team, where they won 27 games more than the previous year. And the right field line is 326 feet to honor former manager Johnny Oates, who's number 26, is also retired. So they worked all of their retired numbers into the distances in the field dimensions.
I mean, are nice graphically designed pennants not adequate anymore? That we need to do some gematria bullshit on the diamond?
Are they going to adjust the dimensions of the stadium next time they need to retire a number?
Yeah, like if they ever retire Elvis Andrus's number, what are they going to do? Have a 1 foot, backstop just for number 1?
Yeah, right? I mean, you could do 401 in the outfield somewhere.
I mean, I like how for a while at the Skydome they had it in meters. That was entertaining.
They still do. It's just underneath the feet.
I wish they did it in kilometers.
I'll just put a 0 point in front of it.
I know, it'd be funny as hell.
Yeah, it would.
He hit the ball 1/10 of a kilometer away.
That's pretty far to hit a baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do that.
I can't do that. You think you can clear the infield?
I think I can clear the infield. Just make sure there are no infielders there.
Yes, that's fair.
Oh my God. I mean, okay, if it's your ridiculous new ballpark, you're the ones who had a perfectly serviceable one next door, but it's your money. Hopefully it's your money.
Which is now an XFL stadium.
Because that's still a thing.
Hey, The Rock owns it. It's coming back.
Yes, it is, and yes, he does. I mean, do you think we still have a shot at being place kick holders in the XFL?
Probably. Now remember,
they don't use footballs. They use Looney Tunes Dynamite for kicking plays.
That's right. I don't know. Remember, if they miss a kick, they drop an anvil on your head.
Ain't I a stinker? Dude, Animaniacs is coming back. I repeat, Animaniacs is coming back.
But how are we going to watch it in Canada? It's only on Hulu. I mean, other than
Life finds a way.
Yes, life finds a way. Exactly. But I want to give the creators my money in this case because they are deserving of it, and they won't let me.
We can Venmo them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just creators of Animaniacs. If you're listening to this podcast, Thank you for listening to our podcast. We will give you all of our money. Well, all of his money.
Well, don't speak for me.
I mean, like this has nothing to do with baseball, but it is like at least some random chaos is good chaos. Like on like the internet cube of, like chaotic good, chaotic neutral. The Animaniacs are chaotic good.
They are chaotic good. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican. I can't do the song fast there.
Yeah, there's a lot of words in there.
There are.
But what were we talking about? Baseball? Walker Bueller's super tight pants? Like, I mean,
Walker Buehler.
I love the sound of home runs in a semi-filled stadium, but also Walker Bueller's super tight pants.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about pajama pants, but he has like anti-pajama pants.
And speaking of pants, Freddie Freeman wears Robert Mitchum pants. Like they're up to his chest, or he just has a small torso. But either way, great home run off of him. Like he's clearly got the leg power for it.
Yeah, he clearly does. Freddie Freeman wears grandpa pants.
That's why I said Robert Mitchum pants for people old enough to know who that is.
Yeah. At least it's not like the 40s where they wore pants up to their eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, how did they even see stuff back then?
I don't know. Their toes?
I guess they sensed it. They used the Force.
They did use the Force.
But that's going to be a fun series. And again, because of all of the pandemic-sensitive scheduling, we're getting games every single day, no off days, until the World Series, brief break before games resume.
Yeah.
Who you got?
We got baseball every day, which is great. And they're getting it in before Halloween, and then, I mean, it's going to be a long time until there's baseball again.
We'll see you in 2023.
It was a great season, guys. A nice short sprint, and then who knows when we'll see you again. But it looks like they're trying to play 162 this season, next season. Like, where? On Dana White's Fight Island in Abu Dhabi? Like, how the fuck is that going to work? I have no idea. I think they're betting really hard that there will be a vaccine. Okay, like, all the power to you. Like, we all want a vaccine, but wanting doesn't turn biscuits into gravy. Is that a thing? It's a thing now. It's a thing now. Okay, but, I mean, it looks like there might be one sometime in early 2021, but then who knows how long it'll take to roll out. For sure. And again, there's multiple vaccine candidates, the effectiveness of each candidate, and then the different strains of the virus, which vaccines combat which strains. Like, there's a whole host of things that are still up in the air. And again, if you're listening to this podcast, just continue to make smart decisions. That's all we can recommend. Like, yes. Wash your hands, wear a mask. Make smart decisions, unlike the President of the United States did. And that brings us to our new game. So, we have a new game? We have a new game. Can I play? Did I win? You can play and you can win. So the name of this game is Who Said It? Dr. Sean Connery or Actor Sean Connery. These aren't the same person. These are not the same person. Dr. Sean Connery is the doctor who was in charge of Donald Trump's medical treatment. Sean Connery is the thespian who, amongst other things, played the original James Bond. I use thespian very lightly here.
Okay, he would have been a great Macbeth. I'm just saying. He's Scottish. He loves murder. That's all it takes.
Yes, he would have made a great Macbeth. He still could do it.
Yeah, he's hip.
Are you doing the Macarena?
Give me a hug. What am I, frickin' Frankenstein? Give me a hug.
So, how this game will work
is
scene. I have selected a number of quotes, some of which were by Sean Connery, and some of which, from the movies of Sean Connery, and some of which are by Sean Connery. I am going to read them in my best...
Because Sean Connery's real-life quotes are disturbing, problematic, and wrong.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to read them in my best Sean Connery impression, and Ben is going to guess who said them. Let's we prepared?
Do this. What do I get if I win?
My undying gratitude.
Oh. All right, let's play the feud.
Okay. Here's the first one. We're going to start off easy.
Okay.
They pull a knife, you pull a gun. They put one of yours in the hospital, you put one of theirs in the morgue.
That could go either way. But I'm going to have to say that was Sean Connery playing an Irish cop in The Untouchables.
That is correct.
Circle gets the square.
Circle gets the square. We're going to up the difficulty now. Yesterday. What is yesterday?
Okay, for that one, I'm going to have to go with Dr. Sean Connery.
That Dr. Sean Connelly. That is correct. Asking about, trying to obfuscate about giving Trump oxygen.
That's always good from a doctor when they don't give you straight answers. Okay. So, all right, 2 for 2. I'd like to solve the puzzle, Alex.
Go ahead.
What is Burt Reynolds?
Oh, I fucked your mother, Trebek.
Okay, let's get back to the game. This is fun and disturbing.
Okay. She talks in her sleep.
Oh, the best line of the Indiana Jones franchise. That is Sean Connery.
That is Sean Connery. You are correct. And our
Henry
final
Jones
one,
Sr.
let's see if you can run the table. I wasn't trying to do anything that would steer it in a negative direction.
Was Sean Connery in the Poseidon Adventure? Because that sounds very Poseidon Adventure-y. I mean, this is what separates the podcaster from the podcastee. I'm going to have to say that one is Dr. Sean Connery.
That is Dr. Sean Connery. Explaining why he gave confusing information because he didn't want to, quote, steer the direction of the illness in a negative direction when he was talking about Trump at the hospital. Because apparently diseases watch Fox News now.
Also, that could have been in Red October. I don't want to steer the shop in a bad direction.
Absolutely could have.
All right, I like this game. I mean, I think I said Dr. Sean Connery a bunch of times because in my head, somehow Sean Connery got his medical degree. But, I mean, nicely done. Way to introduce a new segment, and I'm glad I didn't screw up too badly.
I'm not sure if we'll ever be able to use this segment again because I don't know how many more press conferences we're going to get from Dr. Sean Connery. But if we get more press conferences from him, we'll play this game again.
I like the sound of that.
I mean, did you see those press conferences? They looked like they were like, we have an announcement to make. The dinosaurs have escaped the park.
It was bad. It was all kinds of bad and wrong and disturbingly predictable.
Yes, disturbingly predictable. But remember, you can change all of this if you just fucking vote.
And that brings us to our fucking vote section. And again, for our listeners in British Columbia, sorry, let me check my notes. Listener in British Columbia.
And our listener in Saskatchewan, they have an election too.
Yeah. New Brunswick, our listener in New Brunswick, there was already an election there. So, again, the U.S. elections, and again, this is President, House of Representatives, a lot of the Senate, local offices like mayor, sheriff, comptroller, ballot measures, referenda, which is the plural of referendum. Fucking vote. Yeah, and again, we will do the same thing when Canada needs to fucking vote. But right now, America fucking votes.
Yeah, fucking vote. And there's a lot of people out there who say, oh, well, I'm an apolitical person. No, you're not. If you're apolitical, that just means you're okay with the system as it is. And that means you're probably a straight white dude. Just try and put yourselves in the shoes of a person who isn't you. And then fucking vote.
It's something that should be taught to children at the earliest possible age. Think of other people. Like, it's basic, it's primal, it's basic to think of yourself first. There can be a second. Think of other people. And again, if you're in an opportunity where the system as it stands is good for you, help make it good for someone else. That goes, it doesn't get more simple than that. And again, I'm just echoing what you're saying. Like, if you're in a position where it's good for you, take a half fucking second and try to make it better for someone else. It does not hurt you to help other people. No. It literally does not hurt you.
It does not hurt you to make things better for other people. I could not say it better myself. And go out there and fucking vote to make it better for other people.
Yeah, and again, we have our political leanings. We have our political beliefs. Like, these are our principles. If you don't like them, well, we have others. But vote as if you could make a good difference in someone else's life.
Yeah, and remember,
if you're not motivated to vote, think of other people.
Yeah. And remember, the ballots are, if you're planning to vote by mail, ballot deadlines are coming up, and they might have already passed in your state, and registration deadlines are coming up, and again, might have already passed in your state. So get on that, because it is incredibly important to make sure that you are registered to vote. Otherwise, you can't vote. It's a bizarre system. I don't get how the American system is set up in that way, but that is the system under which you function. Ben has a point.
I have a theory. It's not a good one.
No,
we all know.
We all know why it's set up that way. It's to discourage you from voting. Yes. So stick it to the man and vote.
Seriously, and again, we know this is a baseball podcast. We know we're a bunch of goofs. We also are human beings. We also have thoughts outside of which Futurama episode we're going to talk about and who we think is going to win the World Series. So again, if you don't like it, we have other things to say. But this is one of those things. Fucking vote.
Fucking vote. And now we move on to more goofy shit. Man, I want to get an I voted sticker. I'm going to print one off from the John Oliver website.
Nice. I actually have, it's somewhere here. I'm not going to do what I did a couple episodes ago and run away in a futile effort to find some of my souvenirs. But when I was at the Kennedy Museum in Boston, it's been like 4 or 5 years ago now, I picked up a Vote JFK button with like the red, white, and blue tricolor and Jack's face on it.
That's a good one.
And I wore it on Canadian Election Day last year and got many confused looks.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I tried to write in Bobby, but they were not having it at my election center, which good, because I'm I should not be doing stupid shit like that.
No, don't do stupid shit like that. Also, don't do stupid shit like writing in Bernie. All that does is help Trump. Vote for the people on the ballot. Bernie said he's voting for Joe. If you support Bernie by the transitive property, you support Biden. That ends my rant.
Just curb your enthusiasm for just a second, and again, think of other people.
Yes. And fucking vote. And now on to goofy shit.
Vote. Goofy shit because
we bring you to the first Connery's Corner that does not feature Sean Connery or Nick Cage.
I apologize in advance for what we're about to do, but I'm fucking amped to talk about this movie.
So we're talking about the Jeremy Renner 2013 vehicle, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. This was made before Avengers, but released after Avengers, so as to capitalize on Jeremy Renner being Hawkeye.
And again, we all have a soft spot for Clint Barton. There's no denying it. We know he is the most important Avenger.
He's as super as they come.
Yeah. And this is him and Gemma Arterton as the titular Hansel und Gretel. Only now, they've gone all Django on this.
Yeah. So they defeat the witch at the very beginning. And then they become professional witch hunters. They grow up and become buff and kick ass.
And of course, they go up against Jean Grey, the ultimate witch of the forest, because Famke Janssen is just awesome.
Yeah. And they have ridiculous weapons, like a crossbow that shoots in two different directions, neither of which is towards them. And a Gatling crossbow. And for some reason, guns in this bizarre universe.
Because let's be honest, we want to be in that universe where we have Gatling crossbows. I'm pretty sure old J-Ren just brought over some of his props from the first Avengers movie and said, hey, I'm already good with this. Can we do something with it?
Yeah, pretty
sure
much.
Enough, I mean, I would love to see... Go ahead, sorry.
There's a scene where they kill a bunch of witches by stringing up magic garrote wire across a set of trees, and the witches fly their brooms into the garrotes.
How is this not a Tarantino movie?
It should have
it's not
been.
Good.
It's not good enough to be a Tarantino movie, but it is very Tarantino-esque at points.
Also, Will Ferrell and Adam McKay produced it. Okay.
Why
Good
not?
To know.
But they have to stop a plot by the ultimate witches to become immune to fire, because of course, as we all know, the best way to kill a witch is to burn it. Burn them!
Only if she weighs more than a duck.
Yes. Because as we know, ducks float, and so do churches.
Well, churches are made of wood.
Yes. What else can we do with wood? Build a bridge!
I mean, why did you make me watch this movie? That's time I will never get back. But fortunately, it's only it's like an hour and a half long, so not the worst way to spend an hour and a half.
It's not very long. And it's fun, for lack of a better term. It's turn off your brain and enjoy a stupid movie.
And again, this is remember when Jeremy Renner was born? Except he wasn't born; he was the other guy. And then they had to bring back Matt Damon, who's 70 at this point, and he still kicked ass.
Right? Yeah. This was during the Jeremy Renner. Let's put Jeremy Renner in every action movie era.
You mean the Renaissance?
The Renaissance, if you will. Yes.
I mean, if you have literally nothing better to do, watch this movie. If you have to flip a...
My watch started talking about Jeremy Renner.
Your watch is a witch. Burn it! Burn it!
Burn it!
Oh my god. Okay, so
we have to rate it.
Give it an arbitrary ranking.
Yes.
Yes.
All
right, so go ahead. Sorry.
I give it 2 historically inaccurate Gatling crossbows out of a potential 4.
I give it 3.5 out of 7.25 gingerbread houses that they should have been merchandising like crazy, like Yogurt told us to.
Yes.
Merchandising.
Also, the one true force.
Oh, man. We should talk about Spaceballs more and less about, not Spaceballs.
Yes. Spaceballs. Yes. Spaceballs.
The true embodiment of Mel Brooks' Jews in space.
Exactly. Liquid Schwartz.
Oh, man. We call it Mr. Coffee.
Yes. Everyone knows I like my Mr. Coffee when I view the radar. We've lost the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. What? The what and the what? The bleeps, bloop, bloop, bloop. The sweeps, and the creeps. It's not the only thing he's lost.
Michael Winslow. Oh, the best. Nope, there's only one man who would dare to use raspberry. Lone Star! My helmet. That's what he does in the movie. He performance.
Oh man, Rick Moranis. What happened to him? He got attacked by somebody on the street in New York lately.
That was fucked up, and he is. From what I've heard, he is feeling better. And no, he stepped away. It was actually a sad story what happened. He stepped away from acting after his wife died, so he could, raise his kids full time. And I mean, we still have his absolute Rolodex of great movie appearances. I mean, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Ghostbusters, Spaceballs, and then he showed up in a Ryan Reynolds commercial recently for. Who cares what it was? It was Ryan Reynolds geeking out over Rick Moranis. Oh, SCTV? He was on SCTV,
He's on SCTV, yeah. He burned bright but fast.
Strange Brew. I mean, welcome to the Great White North, eh? It's a treat. Brother Bear, where him and Dave Thomas played Bob and Doug McKenzie as mooses.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's right.
I spy with my little eye something that's dull. It's a tree.
Oh my god! I didn't even remember that until you brought that up.
And again, another animated movie with Phil Collins scoring it. So always a good thing.
Yes, man. Phil Collins and Disney in the late '90s, early 2000s. Mwah.
I still think that Blame Canada should have won the Oscar, but it let us have a bunch of Phil Collins jokes on South Park.
Yes, it did. Blame Canada was a great song. The fact that it even got nominated.
Yes. And that Trey Parker and Matt Stone showed up on acid wearing J-Lo's dress. Always fun.
Always fun. But I think it's now time to talk about Futurama.
Yes, it is. For our Futurama episodes of the week, we have, I think, 2 really entertaining ones. And for mine, I actually have an audio-video presentation. I'm not sure if it'll work on the podcast, but let's see if it does.
I got nothing. Let's try. Let's see.
He wants a brain.
He wants a robot brain. How is he harmonizing with himself?
So I'm not sure if it actually played through, but if you don't know what that's from, it's from the $6 Million Mon. A great episode where Hermes, in an attempt to make himself more useful and to not be mugged by Roberto, decides to start getting robots upgrades from Yuri, the back alley surgeon, until he's more robot than man. Fortunately, though, Dr. Zoidberg, missing his friend, has been stitching together Zoidberg's human parts to make little Hermes, the puppet. And then, of course, at the end, Hermes wants the ultimate upgrade, a robot brain. But the brain they get is, of course, Roberto! Ha ha! Oh, Roberto. I miss him. Always stabbing.
But they're saved because...
Great centric episode.
They're saved when he tries to eat Hermes' skin, but it's so infused with the goat curry, it melts him.
La Barbara. Great. At one point, they mention her jerk prunes as well. It's like, okay, that is powerful human Drano.
Yes.
And of course, Phil Lamar, one of the great voice actors of all time, just always entertaining as Hermes.
Yes, Phil Lamar is great as Hermes. And there are not nearly enough Hermes-centric episodes. There's that. There's how Hermes requisitioned his groove back. That's about it.
The ones that exist are fantastic.
Yes. I have chosen...
How about you? What have you got for it?
I have Benderama. The one where Bender replicates himself, and then the replicants replicate themselves, and so on until it threatens to destroy the entire Earth. It is their take on the gray goo end of the world, where self-replicating, microorganisms could destroy Earth. But, in this case, it's Bender, so it's funny.
Wait a minute, you expect me to do two things? And then the duplicates, wait a minute, you expect us to do four things?
And then the duplicate, yes.
And of course, Patton Oswalt as the ugly giant.
Man, Patton Oswalt should have been a regular on that show.
He very well could have been, and we wouldn't know because he just enmeshes himself into everything nerdy.
He really does. Also, the great nerd comedian.
Absolutely. Also, when Bender becomes so microscopic, he turns all the water into booze, and Morbo says totally fit-chased. Water's now booze, and we're all pretty much totally fit-chased. Great yes. Bender-centric episode. Nicely done.
You have a classic game of the week for us?
I have a variant on a classic game of the week.
Ooh.
So this one is part one of a 4-part mini-doc series from TBS called Field of Dreams Deferred. And it's about the history of black baseball in the United States. First episode released 2 days ago. It's about how the Negro National League was formed, and it talks a bit about Rube Foster and his pitching prowess, and also it brings up the not quite official, but everyone has understood it, agreement to bar black players from the major leagues. And I'm excited for the next episodes to roll out. The first one rolled out ahead of the ALCS Game 1. If you haven't seen it, or if your cable didn't show it to you, if you go to Bleacher Report on YouTube, and we'll include it in the episode link, you can watch episode 1. It's a 6-minute episode, really informative, has a lot of really like really great clips and things that I personally didn't know about. And I'm excited for the rest of the series to roll out. So I cede my pick of the week to suggest people go watch that.
Yeah, definitely worth watching. It was a great piece. So my pick of the week, yeah, oh man, terrific. I caught it on YouTube because I don't have cable, and it is well worth your time. My pick of the week is a traditional baseball game. It has been now 35 years since the Blue Jays first made the playoffs. It came up this past week, so it's been 35 years and a week now. So I suggest their clinching game against the Detroit Tigers, where we only have Jesse Barfield falling to his knees in the great victory pose. It wasn't a particularly great game, but it was a great moment in Jays history where they finally got over that hump. And the drive of 85 was a huge thing because they stunk to open that season. And then after they brought Cito Gaston in to manage the team, he didn't even want to manage. He was content being the hitting coach, but they convinced him to manage, and they went on a run that lasted the last 4 months of the season. It got them into the playoffs. And they would have won the World Series if they hadn't changed the damn ALCS format.
Also, George Brett.
Stupid George Brett. Lousy stupid Royals.
And that is a fun Jays team. Any younger fans who want to, get a refresher on the club's origins and its first taste of success, really, those were some great Blue Jays teams, like Tony Fernandez, Damaso Garcia, Alfredo Griffin. I mean, like you mentioned, Jesse Barfield. And remember when Jesse Barfield's kid came up, Josh Barfield, and all of the people older than us were freaking out?
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Josh Barfield, right?
I think so. Something with a J.
And yeah, I mean, and those Tigers, that Tigers team was a year removed from winning a World Series in 1984. So when you're able to hold off a Titan like that is no small feat.
Mm-hmm. That was the last Tigers World Series somehow.
Yeah, I mean, well, they made it in 2006 and lost to St. Louis. They made it, I believe, did they lose to the Giants?
Yeah,
in one of the
Giants. They lost to the Giants in 2012, I want to say, in the even number years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because 2010 was the Rangers lost to the Giants.
Yeah.
In 2014, it was the Royals. Those same Royals. Yeah. But yeah, no, great pick. Absolutely, fun to watch those games, hear the old commentators, see the evolution of graphics and everything. And even the other day, just on YouTube, I was rewatching Game 1 of the 1975 World Series. Just because of Joe Morgan's passing, and Luis Tiant pitching a 100-pitch complete game win. And I think he stole second base in the puffy pitcher's jacket at one point.
Oh, boy. The puffy
because El Tiante never dies.
Never dies.
So good. Also,
right.
This was post-age. They kept him in.
If it works, it works.
You try telling Luis Tiante that he's not going up to the plate.
Oh, no thank you. I will not do that.
No. And I think he also pitched. Did he pitch for the Reds at one point as well, earlier in his career? Or was he on Cleveland?
I think he was on Cleveland. I'm not going to swear to that, but I think so.
I think so. Either way, if you're in Ohio, fucking vote.
Especially if you're in Ohio. So that brings us to...
We won't sing about Cleveland this time. Let's wrap it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's wrap it. But at least they're not Detroit. They're not Detroit.
We're not Detroit.
So yeah, that brings us to the end of this week's episode. This week in Blernsball, brought to you by Cleveland.
We're not Detroit.
But seriously, folks, this week in Blernsball, it's been great. So you can find us on Twitter at TWI Blernsball, on Facebook by searching This Week in Blernsball, on Instagram we're at TWI Blernsball, and if you enjoy the audio version, you might enjoy the video version where you get to see all the visual jokes that you just hear references to. On YouTube, we're This Week in Blernsball. Ben is dancing right now. We're also part of the AZSE Podcasting Network, which is a network of sports and business podcasts. If you like us, you'll probably like something else there. I'm going to call out the Student Athlete Combo Podcast, which we've called out before, but they're pretty good, so I'm going to call them out again. They're all about, making it work.
Welcome our new podcast, for the words. Sorry.
Go for it. Thank you, Kent Brockman. They're all about these balance in life between being a student and athlete in collegiate sports. They're a good listen if you want a little more serious take on sports than us goofballs.
We could be serious.
No.
Maybe listen to them.
Maybe, yeah. So remember to vote. And there's only 3 weeks left till the election now in the United States. So make yourself a voting plan and educate yourself about who's on that ballot. I think that takes us
minimal amount of reading. Not that hard.
It's not. Oh, right. And you can follow Ben and myself on Twitter. I'm at JMS Morris. Ben is at Benjamin K. Bloom. That's about it.
Again, that's really all we got. Like, we plugged everything we need to plug. You can listen to us on any of the major platforms. I will not say their specific names because I got in trouble for doing that before. But on any of the big podcatchers, wink, you can listen to us. And if you like us, give us a nice review. Maybe send us nice mug cocoa. I mean, and if there's things that you want us to do more of, do less of, you can also email us at an email address that Jacob's going to say right now.
It's twiblernsball@gmail.com. Don't worry, you'll be talking to me. I'm the responsible adult here.
How did I not remember our fucking email address? Like, it seems like the most straightforward thing.
You'd think, and yet.
And yet.
And yet. So I think that brings us to the end of This Week in Blernsball. So for all of us here, I'm Jacob Morris.
I'm Ben Bloom. Thank you so much for joining us.
Farewell from the world of tomorrow. Coming up next week on This Week in Blernsball. So what are we going to do next week, Ben?
The same thing we try to do every week, Jakey. Try to take over the world. We're Pinky and the Brain. Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. Wait, I pointed myself twice. Uh-oh. Yahoo.